I'm a stay-at-home mom and I basically cook all day, every day. So today's video is 7 easy, simple meals that you can make for the week. Basically a 7-day meal plan. I just picked up my camera every time I was making dinner last week and just filmed a little bit and put it all in a video to share with you today. Super simple recipes. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please hit the subscribe button for more homemaking type content, and let's get into what I made for Sunday dinner to start. All right guys, nothing says Sunday dinner quite like chicken cutlets. So I usually make these every Sunday, usually in the fall, in the spring, not so much in the summertime, but whenever we do, it's like the ultimate comfort food. And it's just so basic. You just take your chicken breasts and then cut them really thin, or you get the ones at the butcher that have already been thinned out. Do your basic egg wash. I always add a little salt and pepper into the egg wash and then just a little bit of salt on the chicken. But you dip in the egg, dip in the flour, back in the egg, and then in the seasoned breadcrumbs. And I'm just gonna set them aside until they're all ready to start frying in some olive oil. And here I'm just salting my pasta water because I'm gonna be making some pasta with it. And then you're just going to fry your chicken cutlets in just a little bit of olive oil on medium heat. I guess I probably do like, I don't know, 6 to 8 minutes on each side. You just want them to be nice and brown. And you can always throw them on a baking sheet and then throw them in the oven for like 3 minutes when they're all finished, just to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. You don't want to give anyone raw chicken. So next up, just a tiny little bit of olive oil in the pan, and I'm going to saute some onions up until they're nice and brown. Probably about 5 minutes on medium to medium low. Then I'm adding in some Pinot Grigio, probably about a 1/4 cup. And then I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of chicken broth. Now I'm only making pasta as a side dish here, so I'm using half of a box of spaghetti. I added a 1/4 cup of butter here, or a 1/4 of a stick. And then I'm adding about a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of pasta water. Okay, so this is what makes up the sauce, and you're gonna simmer this on medium for about 10 minutes before you add your pasta directly into this sauce. And for seasoning, I did just add a pinch of salt and pepper. And then I'm just adding in that half a box of cooked pasta now. And this is perfect for like a side dish for my family of 4. But if you have a large family, obviously you're going to double, triple, or quadruple that recipe. And so once you toss your pasta in that sauce, just let it sit for a good 5 to 10 minutes so it really absorbs all of that flavor and liquid. And then I'm just topping with some Parmigiano Reggiano and some black pepper. So now I'm just adding some steamed broccoli on the side, and I'm gonna add that chicken cutlet on top. I also always serve a salad and usually some like bruschetta or bread and butter or something like that as well. But it's the perfect Sunday dinner, and it's so easy. Alright guys, next up I am making Buddha bowls. So Monday is the day where everybody always wants to eat healthy, I think, after the weekend. So I try to make salad bowls on Monday. So I went ahead and I roasted beets, potatoes, and then I sauteed some onions and peppers here. And then I have all other assorted toppings here. I have avocado, sauerkraut, cucumber, garbanzo beans. But you can switch it up and roast whatever vegetables you want. You could do carrots, any kind of roasted squash. Just, it's nice to have a salad with warm toppings. So I like to do this, like half of the toppings warm and then half of the toppings cold. And then I'm using garbanzo beans for a protein, but by all means, do chicken, do salmon, do whatever you want to do. I like to do vegetarian meals throughout the week, and usually eat like the meat dishes on the weekend. I just like to eat a little bit lighter during the week. But here I am adding the ranch dressing on this. We like the Primal Kitchen ranch. And here's an example of a bowl with no ranch and one with ranch. Super satisfying though. They're nice, hearty salad bowls. right, next up, another hearty salad bowl. I'm making taco bowls. I went ahead and cooked my own beans, so you soak them for overnight and then cook them in the Instapot. And then I sauteed some mushrooms, peppers, and onions in just a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and then made some Mexican rice. And I'm going to go ahead and assemble a salad bowl here. Pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of add all of your toppings into the bowl. And that's what I enjoy eating. These are like my favorite meals. And I'll eat the bowl just the way it is, like a salad bowl. But my husband likes to always have like a tortilla on the side. Or sometimes we might have like tortilla chips as well. But the bowl itself to me is very satisfying. So Tuesday is for taco bowls. Alright guys, next up is mushroom risotto with some crostini, goat cheese, and honey. So first I'm just chopping up some onions and mushrooms and then sauteing them with a little bit of salt and pepper. Remember, I learned it from the show Secrets of a Restaurant Chef that I used to watch all the time back in the day. Season at every layer. So every time you add a layer to your food, season with a little salt and pepper. Just always keep that in mind. So here I am again using the Pinot Grigio and the chicken stock, and I'm using about a quarter cup of the Pinot Grigio. Gonna let that simmer down, and then I'm adding 1 cup of chicken stock, and then I'm adding 3 cups of cooked rice to kind of cook it all down. Like the rice is going to absorb all of that broth and wine mixture. And I like to use short green brown rice when I make risotto. That's not traditional risotto. You get your traditional risotto rice from the grocery store. I also add another quarter cup of butter and then salt and pepper, and then just kind of let that simmer on medium for a good, 10 minutes or so. And then, of course, I'm adding Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. So you can see I kind of repurposed the wine, the chicken broth, and the Parmigiano Reggiano cheese from Sunday dinner. Use that again throughout the week because we don't want any of that to go to waste, of course. And it's a totally different meal with the rice, making the risotto. And you can see here the rice has soaked up all of that chicken broth mixture, and it's all that flavor into the rice, so that's great. On the side, I'm just going to cut up some baguette and add a little bit of goat cheese to it. Well, first I toasted it, and then I'm adding a little bit of goat cheese to it, and then we'll drizzle honey on top of that bread, and that's gonna give it just a nice little crunchy, sweet side to go with the risotto. I'm also adding a little bit of green salad here just to add a little bit of vegetables, but I love these meals that are just like carb on carb on carb. I love carbs. And as long as your food is like good quality, don't think about carbs and stuff like that. I mean, come on, you have to live. And of course, topping with a little bit of that Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Alright guys, so next up I'm making pasta. So first I just sauteed with a little bit of chicken broth, salt and pepper, onions, peppers, zucchini, yellow squash. I added in some steamed broccoli in there and mushrooms. And then I just sauteed it with chicken broth, no oil or butter or anything, for about 10 minutes or so on medium heat. And then again, I'm cooking a very small portion of pasta here. And then I'm adding all of my vegetables into a large bowl, and I'm gonna add some of that Parmigiano Reggiano to it again, and then toss it all together just to get the vegetables a little bit of like a creamy texture, and then let them sit there for a while and just kind of absorb all of the flavors there. And then returning to the pan, I'm adding just about a quarter cup of red sauce and a little dab of butter here, and then just heating that up. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and add that pasta in. The goal when I make pasta, like I said earlier, is to have it not be like this huge bowl of pasta. I like the vegetables or the meat or whatever else is going with it to be kind of the main. So whenever I do make pasta, I make sure I load it with vegetables. So you can see here, this is about probably a quarter to a half of a bag of fusilli pasta that I'm adding to this large bowl of vegetables, and that will feed my husband and I and my kids. And then we'll have like a salad on the side with some bread. But anyway, I'm adding that pasta over top of the vegetables here. Of course, shredding a little more of that Parmesan or Reggiano cheese, stirring it all up, and it's absolutely delicious veggie pasta. Alright guys, next up is homemade pizza. Friday night, every Friday I make homemade pizza. So I start the dough during the day, of course. And this clip here of me making pizza is actually from another video of mine. I kind of stole it. I thought, well, why would I film making pizza again when I already put this in a different video? My kids and I, we make pizza dough together every Friday. So basically you're going to take 1 package of yeast and put it in a bowl with a good tablespoon of sugar or some sort of sweetener, honey, maple syrup I've used quite often. And then you want to add a good tablespoon or so of olive oil, 1 cup of warm water, throw a towel over that, let that yeast get nice and bubbly for about 10 minutes, and then you want to start adding your flour. You usually add around 2 to 3 cups of flour. So once you get to the point where you have to start kneading it, you keep adding the flour in, and you'll know like when it's a good dough. And then you want to take that dough, set it aside, cover it for another hour, and then it's perfect and ready to spread out on your pizza pan. So it's a really simple thing to do, is to just make homemade pizza dough. I feel like most people don't do it because, I mean, if you're working all day, you get home from work, the last thing you want to do is make dough and let it rise for an hour and all of that. But if you're home during the day, just make it during the day. It's so easy and simple. You do have to wait an hour, but my kids and I make it during the day, and then we spread out the pizzas usually at like 4:30, and then you want to put them in the oven for 20 minutes at 375 degrees, and they come out perfect every time. Alright guys, last for Saturday night is Korean beef noodle bowls. This is from the book Against All Grain, and I'm just going to quickly go over the actual recipe here in the book so you can kind of look at it, screenshot it if you want it. I, of course, don't follow this exact recipe because I don't ever follow an exact recipe. But if you want to, here's the exact recipe. Danielle Walker, she's an amazing cook. I love her. So we're going to be using some fillets. I'm going to be using zucchini, mushroom. I'm adding red pepper. The recipe doesn't call for that. I like to add red pepper into everything. Salt, pepper, coconut aminos, or you could use soy sauce. Toasted sesame oil, some honey, or you could use maple syrup, apple cider, vinegar, garlic, and then some chili flakes here. I actually grew these little chilies in my garden. I think they're cayenne peppers, but I've dried them, and so I just chop them up, add them with some fresh garlic here, and then this is going to be for the steak here. So I'm adding in about a tablespoon of coconut aminos, a tablespoon of sesame oil, and then I'm going to throw my beef in there. I'm just cutting it up in little strips, and then I'll just add a little salt and pepper, toss it all together in the bowl, and set it aside. Next up, I'm just going to chop up my vegetables. So I use about a quarter cup of the coconut aminos, and then I use about a tablespoon of the toasted sesame oil, probably a teaspoon of the apple cider vinegar, and then just a nice small scoop of the honey, mixing the vegetables all together. It's hard to mix them in the bowl, so I put them in that plastic container, but put them back into the bowl so they're ready to saute. All right, here's all of the stuff I'm using. I'm going to be boiling the pad thai brown rice noodles as well. Just cook those according to the package. A little bit of olive oil in the pan here, and then I'm going to put my beef in, and you just barely want to cook it. You want to just, brown it on each side. So just like maybe a minute on each side. And then I'm going to remove the meat from the pan. And what we'll end up doing is cooking the vegetables in this pan where the meat was. And then once the vegetables are all the way cooked down to the tenderness that you want them, you'll add the meat back in with the vegetables, toss it all together. And then if that meat needs to be cooked a little bit more, it will cook in with the vegetables. So if it's a little more rare than you'd like, that's no big deal. It'll cook in there. So I probably cooked these vegetables in the mixture for a good 10 to 15 minutes on medium. And then you don't want to overcook your rice noodles, because overcooked rice noodles that are like mush are terrible. But this is like perfect right here. They came out really good. All right, so I'm going to add my beef back in with the vegetables, mix it all up. And this is just a really satisfying, good meat dish. If you're going to, if we eat meat, we try to eat like very good quality meat, and we definitely don't eat meat every day, that's for sure. So when we do, we want it to be good quality. And then you're just going to top it over the rice noodles. Make sure you get that sauce in there and get the noodles all saucy. And it's just really good. My husband loves this dish. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I kind of wanted each recipe to be like quick and easy, not like some long drawn out video. So I hope you liked today's video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Please like and subscribe, and see you later.
Doesn't make